Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome back to what is episode 12 of the new build at Sandling Junction. So what's been going on since episode 11? Well, I've got to put my hands up straight away and say not too much, to be fair. I have been busy both in my gallery and with painting commissions and getting new online tutorial platforms set up and running, and we're still in the middle of all that. So it has curtailed how much time I've been able to put up in the train room and develop the layout even further. That said, what else has been going on? Well, recently, as yesterday, that recent, I went to the Folkestone and Hythe Model Railway Show at the Lees Cliff Hall in Folkestone. That was a blast. I love that, meeting up with old friends and buying things that I shouldn't be buying. I actually did. I bought another S15 in BR late livery. And that was fine. All works out nicely. It's all chipped. And I bought a Sir Eustace, can't think of the full name, but it's another spam cam to add to my collection. It was really nice. I love the solid green wheels on this one. And so yeah, Sir Eustace Missington, I think that's the one. And I put a chip in that, and that's running around quite nicely as well. So I don't need any more locomotives. I've got way too many. Why I went there to buy anything at all, I don't know. But anyway, I did, and I shouldn't. You can't take it with you, can you? So there you go. Anyway, that's what I did yesterday. And in the afternoon when I came back, I started looking at the layout. Now, when episode 11 ended, I'm not sure how much more I did. Some I filmed, and if I still got the footage. So it may be that I do a little backtracking and then jump straight into what I started filming yesterday. And that was the continuing of the line coming around the top platform and the first two rows going into the terminus station. Now, I wanted to get that done purely and simply so that I could have an end-to-end on the shuttle, as it were, and build that shuttle in, so I can just have that train going up and down without me thinking about it, having to stop and forgetting it, and then all hell breaks loose. So I wanted to do that, and so I think we pick it up somewhere where I'm starting to lay the cork or cut the track and get it all ready to go, and laying the cork down. And then I've done all that, and I actually laid that track down last night, and it's all done. I cleared all the weights off and put it all away, tidied everything up. And this afternoon I looked at it, I thought I really would love to get you running. So I've been on my back underneath again, and I've done all the electrics. And but I say I've done all the electrics, that's not quite true. I've done all the electrics where it's easy. I've still got to put point motors in on the points so that they become operational, and so I can run a train through so far. But that leads me to not only the issue that I've got, but the title of this episode, which is I am really questioning or bringing into question my sanity again. I gotta say, it's crazy. I have had one issue after another with this layout. Now, I know when I started doing it, when Julian and I started talking about it a couple of years or so back, and we started putting designs down, we knew the sizes of everything. We just had to make something work that could be operational and look okay and give me fun and interest when I come to using it. So we worked hard on that. I've got to say, more Julian than I worked hard on it. And we come up with something that was happy. And as you know, almost a year ago now, because Getz is upon us this weekend, if it hasn't already gone by the time you see this. And if you went there, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. Wish I could have been there. Unfortunately, I'm so busy I just couldn't. But Julian spent the week here afterwards, after Getz, and helped me construct the tables. So when he left back for New Zealand last year, the tables were all done. The only bits that were not finished were the top section, which I finished over the next couple of weeks, but then it was ready to go. Now, the whole idea of this was to be able to make it modular. Now, modular can be it can be like Charlie's of Chadwick, where he's got everything that can lift off, he can put it on something, work on it and put it back in place. But I think even he, on a recent video that I saw in this last week, has had an issue where he's got a point that's gone naff on him and he's got to get underneath, and he's in a very restrictive part of the unit, and I don't know if that's one he's going to be able to lift off, or he's going to have to get sort of tucked up in a very comfortable way underneath the layout to get at it. I don't know, but even with his knowledge and planning, it can cause problems. So when it comes to it, the top section was made up of 3 big pieces of wood. Now, it could have been suggested that I make them smaller. Well, indeed, one of them was so heavy that I couldn't actually physically get it up on top. And so we cut that down and I made 4 out of 3. But even so, because of the way they're on these wooden supports, they are very, very heavy. And if you can then add on all the track and maybe later on all the infrastructure that you can't readily lift off, it makes them extremely heavy. And if you start pushing them up and put them on something, you're still got to work at awkward angles, and you're going to put an awful lot of pressure on the wood at the back to stay in place and not snap or collapse. And any damage you do is not just on the top, but it's also everything that you've got underneath in that hidden fill yard. So there is no long story short on this, and I think I labor this point a little bit more in the video, so please bear with me. I know some people out there have criticized me for waffling on a little bit too much, and that is my way, so I do apologize about that. I'm not going to change the way I do my videos for anyone. But anyway, so the thing is that I looked at it and I needed to make a decision when I put these boards together to get them lined up properly. And wood moves and things change. So I felt that the only way forward properly is to join them up with them 8 bolts, nuts and bolts, tighten them up so tight that they're not going to go anywhere until I decide to slacken those bolts off and move the layout. So that was my decision to make. I think that there was just no way of putting track on, cutting it through, being able to lift a piece up just to put some wiring in carefully and getting it all back down in place with the weight, getting it all lined up, all tightened up again with every piece of track properly lined up, and there's a lot on there, and without damaging anything. So I think my term of modular has sort of changed a little bit, in as much as that it is now going to be modular, but only when I take the layout down to move or to sell it, or sadly one day if I'm still doing it and I get called to him upstairs or in below, whichever way it goes, then it can be collapsed easily and moved on to pastures new. So that's my degree of modular, and I would just literally cut through the track, cut through the scenery and repair it and change it if it goes to a new premises. So that's all I can do. So it's led to a problem at this end, because I've only got yay much between the top layer and the next layer. There is a whole load of track underneath. There are other electrics and other things going on, and there is about that much clearance, and I kid you not, there's that much clearance between a tall chimney stack on a loco and the bottom of what be a point motor. Is not a lot of gap, and there's certainly no gap to get your hands in there and screw up a point motor underneath at all. It's really, really difficult. So I put the 2 points in on these 2 roads, and I've got the other ones to do, and I've been looking at it, looking hard. I won't tell you all about my thoughts right now, because you're going to get sick to death of listening to what I'm saying later on, and I hope you stay with it and watch to the end, because I have got ideas and thoughts that I'm needing to run these by you guys and to help me out. And one of them at the moment is to get rid of the points in the station area and not have a ability to run a loco round the train and catch the other end. You'll see why later on and what the problem is that I have. But I think I need to get rid of the points, because I can't see any easy way other than surface mounted point motors hidden under a platform which has its own issues, I could do that. That's possible, but I still got to get wiring to it. I've got to still make it all work. So lots of ideas. I'm seeking a lot of help. Email me, any one of you who've got ideas. Now, I know James from Dongits has a great idea about operational implications and trains running. So James, I hope you're watching this chat and you can get in touch with me and give me some help, and maybe email me, discuss it on the phone or whatever, and lots of arrows and blown up bubbly bits so with writing this so I can understand what you're saying for a layman. And somebody else, I don't know the gentleman's name, but I do watch his videos all the time, and that's the guy who runs the channel called Wallsrail. And I know he is a train driver, and he will have also a very good idea of operational functionality, and when that's also applied to a layout, because of course we can't run our layouts, our small layouts, like you can a real world scenario. We have to compromise. Things have to be cut down, miniaturized, and because of that you can't actually have things running as you might want them to. You just don't have the room. So between everybody, I hope that you can get in touch and get me out of this little crisis, but it's probably the biggest one in the layout that I've got so far. And I do know that when Julian and I started discussing it, we did all the planning, and the any rails or the the planning design programs that we use, everything that we could do was made. But we do know that there has to be an element of customization, and there has been with Sandling Junction Mark II, in as much as that when we put the boards in, it was too close to the lower deck in terms of having something there. It was actually almost over one of the rails, so I had to chop 2 inches off. That alone meant everything else that was in the planning had to be shifted over, reduced, altered and changed to function. So it is a degree of manipulation. It is a degree of variation and compromise from the start to the end. And this is just another one, but I'm not sure how to proceed. So yeah, I'm over to you guys. So please don't get too bored with this video. It already is me chatting away, probably too long, just me gambling on. But see it through to the end if you would, and get in touch with help if you can. And to anybody out there who, as I have had recently, unfortunately, a couple of comments that are not very nice, and I would ask such people either to refrain, because if you've got nothing better to do, then maybe you should try filming a channel yourself and see how hard that can be. And if you still don't like the content, then you're free to unsubscribe and go and spend your time elsewhere. But for those of you who do follow me and have given me a subscription and are not inclined to give me awful comments, then thank you very much for your support. And if you're not a subscriber, as always, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon and the notification tab. It tells you each time I upload a new video, and add comments. I love those, I read them, and I learn so much from each of you when you do comment. It's ideas that I don't have myself, and I can employ those in my build. So yeah, thanks very much. Catch you all, well I won't probably, I was just going to end up with a little bit of running, but I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in episode 13, I hope. If we get past episode 12. Catch you all soon. Bye bye. Okay everybody, and a very warm welcome back. And I think I've just thought of the title of this episode of my Sandling Junction build, and it's one I'm going to call Doubting My Own Sanity. I gotta say, I really am bringing my sanity into question when it comes to this layout. It has been troublesome, not from the start, because I mean everybody concerned, Julian, myself and others have put an awful lot of work into this, but there have been a few issues along the way, and they were to do with build and also later the track LAN and problems with shorts. That's all overcome, and you saw in the last where I was starting to put in the cork for this section coming all the way through here to the first 2 rows into the terminus station, which will end right there. Now none of that is a problem, and I I got it all wired up except to say that I've got the points to put in to make everything operational fully, but the lines here are all live. It's just the points that have got to be sorted out. That said, these points here on this table are absolutely fine because there's nothing underneath it. However, this is where my problem begins, because under here there is more and more infrastructure on a lower deck, and here I have got 2 points here and here. I'll have another 2 here and here, and I don't have access underneath to fit any point motors. And yeah, the idea of this layout was to be quite modular. Now the thing is that there are a lot of areas over here, especially where there's an awful lot of track that cuts over this joint here. There is also over here an awful lot of track that divides on these two, and again over on there. And any one of these pieces of board are extremely heavy to lift up and work on. And to get them joined together and tight with what I've got M8 bolts underneath and nuts, and they are tight as I can make them so that they do not move in the future. The idea was, as I say, to make it modular, but the problem I will have is cutting through anything and having the effort to pull it up and get it out of the way without damaging what's underneath. It's just too much. And so I took the decision that it will be modular only when I come to take it apart one day in the future. However, things like this I didn't think of right there. The joint goes straight through this point, and indeed where I've designed the other ones, it would do almost the same thing. I can now move those ones away from this. If I want to clear this one of this joint, I've got to move it up. So I've got to take a certain amount of this track that I've just laid out. It's a little bit of lack of foresight. But then, with all that said, the problem I've got, if I move this point, let's just use this point, we move that clear and here. Now, all I've got is from there to there for a train to come in. There's no room really for more than maybe 3 coaches. So when I put it here, there was just enough really to bring 4 coaches in. Train can run forward and back out, and that's what I needed. But if I bring this to here, I've lost half a coach length, and it makes you wonder, is it worth putting points in here at all if that's going to be the situation? I may as well just cut the 2 points out, join in a straight length of track, and have no change over here or indeed here. That will eliminate the need to worry about putting point motors under this very tight area. Over here, there are a lot of points, but there is a little bit more access over there to put point motors. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that the area here is clear over there and also up there. So anything I put from there all the way down through there is pretty clear from any infrastructure underneath. It's just these 2 points here that are causing me a major headache right now. And I don't know quite what to do, because if I start ripping up, I'm getting so used to putting something down and ripping it up again. It's annoying as heck. But what choice do I have if I want to put points in? Whereas if I don't have this, I can bring a 4 coach in. Sure, I can unhook it. I can probably figure out a operational way using the turntable and bringing a train on from sort of off of there up to there, bringing it all the way down through here, hook up to the train and take it off. And then the engine here can reverse back out and do a reverse operation over there. Now, I don't know if that's possible in the real world or whether anything like that would have happened. There is also the issue that of putting points in the center of a 2 bay platforms or 2 island platforms, whatever you call them, 2 platforms anyway. So yeah, I mean, I've always thought that you shouldn't have trains sitting on a point, and this would have to be done whatever I did. But if I brought a train in, I've probably got enough room to bring 4 coaches and an engine up to the buffer, and then I can unhook it here. I can have another train. As I say, it can come off here, it can go on, you can back down, pick the train up and take it off. That's one way, but always the situation on one way or the other is that the train is either going to be pushing or pulling the carriages, because even if I took a train out in the right way, then how on earth am I going to bring it back without backing the darn thing in? So yeah, lots of operational issues, and I don't know the answer to them because I do not know the running operations of a railway to make mine work in a very nice way. So the whole thing here, I'm bringing it into question because I don't know what to do. I'm tempted to take these out, not install them on that at all, take these out, just hook up the line and let it run in and run out again. But even if I do have a train that can come in and it can run round and up to here and back in here to pick up the wagons, he's going to be dragging them out, and then he's going to be pushing them back in on the other way, unless I start swapping stuff over off camera or just for the sake of swapping it around physically. There's no way that you can operate this that I can see in such a manner that the train doesn't push it or pull it backwards or do something in the real world. I just don't see how it can be done. But if you guys know otherwise, please get in touch, let me know, put it in the comments or send me a private email. And if you can accompany some schematic diagram type things with arrows to tell me how this might function, I really do not know. But I'm thinking at the moment that I have got to move these. I either move them up so that I can cut line through here, single line, or I dispense with them altogether. But before I go any further with this, and before I start banging my head against the wall and really start getting myself certified, and it's getting close. Yeah, I just seem to be hitting one wall after another. I feel like, and I'm not going to say train wreck because that's wrong, but you know, I feel like I'm just hitting the wall at every turn. And I know a lot of work has gone into making this layout, not just from my point of view in the last year, but certainly before a year or so back when Julian and I were working on the designs. He'd done a lot of work on it. And of course, if you remember last year, just after Getz, he spent a week with me and we built all these tables. So a lot of work's gone in and far too much work to go up now. But I do have to question my sanity in this whole thing. Part of me thinks of taking the whole top layer off and redesigning all of that section around there. I think I would be crazy to do that. We've come so far with this, and the 3 levels works in principle, as I say, but I'm not sure operationally how this will work. So please let me know. I might put this out because it's going to be a little while before I can get back up here and do much more to the layout, and I would like some insight. So it might be a very, very short update, but it's because I've hit this head on into a wall and I don't want to spend any more time doing more only to rip it all up again. I feel that this may have to change. Anyway, I'll leave that up to you guys, and I will get back to you, or you can get back to me. Take care. Bye bye for now. Enjoy your layouts, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. Okay, welcome back. Now I know I've already said goodbye to you guys once, but I am still questioning my sanity and how I move forward with this little conundrum. And the thing is that it's not just the logistics of putting point motors here, 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 and here, but it's also if I take the points up and move them up a little bit. I just looked at all of this, and I can only put, if I do that, I can only put 2.5 coaches in. So 2 coaches and a luggage wagon. That's all that would go in there and work. All right, so hear me out and let's see if I've got this starting to work in my head. And the thing is that if I want 4 coaches and possibly even the luggage, I can come in here with a locomotive. Now this is only a small diesel. If I was to put in, let's just put in a larger locomotive. Let's go in for this one. So there is probably another inch or so. I still have a bit of room to put this loco in and still get all of this stuff in place along the platform. Okay, so if you accept that and you say that we can do away with these 2 points altogether, get rid of them. What do I do here? Well, this can unhook in theory. And then I would have another locomotive come off shed and get into position and come up here to pick up and take the service on to its new destination. All right, so let's assume that that's what we do. The luggage wagon may be in theory out of place. I don't know if they were behind a locomotive or indeed always at the back of the train. But either way, if I've gone round and brought a new locomotive into position to pick up the service and take it away, then this is now out of place, if that's the case. So then if it goes all the way round everywhere and ends up down here on the lower branch line platform, okay, that's all good. But now, if you think about that, this locomotive is now stuck because the service needs to be taken back up to this platform. So what do? I can't make that locomotive now push everything back uphill. It's not going to do it. And this one is no longer at this end. So what I think I can have to do is that this train departs with this locomotive on. And if I've got that right, then I can have this locomotive, whichever one's there, follow it down the track a few minutes behind, as it were, and when it gets all the way down around across here and everywhere it's got to go to there, then that locomotive, the green one in this case, can unhook, and then the blue one comes in, picks it up, brings the service back, and history would then repeat itself. Boom, biddy, boom. So in theory, these 2 locomotives could run the service between them, one following the other up the train line and picking up the service, hooking, unhooking, etc. Now, that sounds pretty crazy, and probably to a lot of real serious hobby layout people out there that run their trains to custom schedules and all this thing, that probably is a no-no. But I can't think of any other way of doing it, guys and girls. You know, either trains start pushing each other up the hill, and I don't think I've got enough to put one at the front, one at the back, and have them reverse their situation. If I could match locomotives so that the power is right, then I could probably do that. You see lots of trains, you know, the old steamers on some of these days at these preserved lines where you've also got a diesel running on behind it. I guess that could be done if I could match units front and back of the train, so that I can make one pull and one push, or the other one the other way round, or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, I'm still looking for answers, but looking at it, I come up with that little idea. But probably most of you who've just watched this were probably rolling around the floor laughing now. But anyway, bear with me. Help me out where you can. I have no answers, but I think what I am definitely going to do is to eliminate the 2 points here, cut them out, and take in a piece of track there, not put those 2 points in there. Then any other points I want to put in should be clear to do. But if I'm not going to do any of that until I put this out and had some response from everybody out there. And so I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of people will give me some ideas, give me some input that I can actually do this, whether it's on here, whether it's moving the points. As I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but there's a lot to think about. It's not just how do I get 2 darn points in here and 2 more in here without moving, cutting through and causing problems. And the thing about this as well, if I have all these tracks going on here and the same on the next one and cut through, these boards are so darn heavy, it took me ages to get 2 bolts through, lined up, tightened up. If I've got to do that and make sure every piece of track in here is properly lined up and without twisting or pulling rails out or doing something stupid, I'm afraid I just don't want that issue. So I'd rather take these 2 points out and not have any points cross here, and yeah, just make things a lot easier for myself, even if it does mean to say I lose a run round loop here. So I hope you understand all that. I'm sorry if I've done the whole subject to death in this little episode, but I really am hoping that you guys can come to my rescue one more time and give me some input that I can work with and tell me if my idea of running the trains in and out of this will be feasible. Now that said, just one last point, I could change my whole era. I could go from my early steam stuff and just keep a couple of my steam locos to act as a preserved situation, but I could sort of go to 4 cars, you know, the EMUs, the DMUs, and the stuff that was sort of on early Kentish lines when we were one of the first regions to go electrified. So yeah, I mean, I could do that and change the whole idea of steamers to electric and to diesel, and upgrade the whole era to maybe late 40s, early 50s to 65 plus, and see how that works, and just run trains that can go in and out of this island platform without worrying which way it's pointing. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All the best. Take care again. Sorry for the second time, but yeah, let's see what we can do with some running, and I'll wait to hear your, or certainly read all your comments. By all means, email me if you've got a longer idea or you want to send me through some diagrams. That would be awesome too. Take care, everybody. All the best. Bye-bye.